with Alan Smithson.
Good morning. Welcome to Daily Tech News. My name is Alan Smithson. Today is Monday, June 24th, and the first story of the day is that AI uses a S-ton of power. And let's get into it because there's lots to cover here today, because we start with energy. AI is already wreaking havoc on global power systems. So right now, data centers use about 3% of global power, and it's estimated that by the end of the decade, by 2030, in only 5.5 years, that will increase to between 8 and 10% of the global power grid. That's not just electricity, but that's also all power generated by humans: gas, oil, fuel, everything, nuclear, all of it. So let's just dig in here. Like much of North Virginia, Loudoun County was once known for its horse farms and Civil War battle sites. So this is 2003. They built there. You can see there's a shopping center there. Then they built a few things. Then they built everything with the dotted line around it is data centers. And you can see around this shopping center, data centers popping up everywhere. These are data banks. It says here, on a crisp afternoon this spring, the newest facility was nearing completion. When it's done, this 200,000 square foot building could use as much energy as 30,000 homes in the US. And I think this is, interesting because there's even a power plant on site. And this we'll put the link to this in the comments of the YouTube video. But if you look around the world, we're starting to see this kind of crazy explosion of data centers. There's been over 7,000 data centers in various stages of development, up from 3,600 in 2015. This is going to be amplified dramatically around the world. And it says these data centers have the capacity to consume a combined 508 terawatt hours of electricity per year. Wow, that's more than Italy and Australia. Wow, by 2034, the global energy consumption just by data centers is expected to top 1,580 terawatt hours. As much power is used by all of India. So I'll leave you with that. I won't go through the whole thing, but I will put the comments in there. And that is leading to things like this, where solar panels are being recycled now with 99% efficiency. One of the problems with solar panels is they generate an enormous amount of energy. That's fantastic. We're able to capture that energy, store it, use it. It's fantastic. It's super clean. The sun gives us tons of energy. But at the end of life, these solar panels release toxic chemicals. They're hard to recycle. They're just a giant pain in the ass to deal with at their end of life. So this approach, being able to capture those toxic fumes and recover 99% of the components from the solar panels, is really, truly magnificent. So if we can recycle these things, I think we are really, really ahead of the game here. And it says here, as countries push for cleaner energy sources, estimates suggest that a whopping 400 gigawatts of solar power are being added to the grid every year, and the number is expected to quadruple by the end of the decade. So the problem is solar panels belong to the crystalline silicon type, which consists of an array of silicon wafers topped with a coating of silicon nitride. Conductors made from silver and copper are then printed on the wafer surface, and the whole assembly is laminated in adhesive polymers to protect it from the moisture. To strengthen the setup further, the laminated sheets are encased in sheets of tempered glass and put into aluminum frames. The polymer adhesive must be removed first to recycle the panel, but it's extremely sticky. I won't get into how they do it, but they've really figured out how to recycle photovoltaic or solar panel cells, and this is chef's kiss to the beautiful people who are doing that. Over to battery storage, because if you know about solar panels, they generate electricity during the day. But at night, when sometimes we need that energy, there's no way to store it. So we're actually finding new ways to store energy. And these new batteries have been shown to endure 5,000 cycles of recharging with a state of health of 70%. And that is amazing, because they not only did that just in normal temperatures, but also did it in extreme temperatures, from minus 22 Fahrenheit to plus 149. And as the world gets warmer and warmer, this is going to be more and more important, that our batteries are able to withstand really hot temperatures. And as we're pulling more energy from them, they do heat up as well. So this is really great, because self-driving cars, electric cars are all using this. And if we're able to do this on a scaled option, being able to have batteries that can charge 5,000 times is going to be what we're going to need, and especially with huge variances of temperatures from living in Canada to living on the equator. And there's a whole video on electric batteries and what you need to know. I'll leave it there, but you can definitely look more and learn more in the comments of the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe as well, because it really helps. Okay, over to LLMs. This new medical LLM called PathChat 2 is talking to pathologists about tumors and offering diagnosis. So you may know that large language models have been used from everything from writing essays to identifying cancers, and this is no different. They're using this LLM and computer vision to identify potential risks. And look at this. I just love this idea here that they're able to take a snapshot of an image. Okay, they take an image area, they take a couple snapshots, and then they put it into PathChat and says, describe what you see in these images. What organ am I looking at? It says, okay, probably a liver. Is it a liver? Oh, no, it's a tongue. You're looking at the tongue. The first image shows normal squamous mucosa. Wow. And then the next one says there's a tumor. Wow. And so the fact that it's able to tell what type of cells they are, I mean, obviously humans can do this at a small rate, but this is instant and no human interaction here. It's just literally taking images and going, here, what's going on here? How would you characterize the appearance of the stroma? And it goes, yeah, it appears to be desmoplastic, which means fibrotic and has an increased amount of fibrous tissue. Like, imagine this. This is a new tool for doctors to get to patient outcomes that are much more better for humanity and for humans. Okay, this is another one. An AI uses a phone app to detect strokes from your face within seconds with an 82% accuracy. So strokes are no joke. When people have stroke, their face starts to sag. There's there's some blinking. There's some definite markers. But as humans, most people don't recognize this. But imagine having just take a picture of somebody or a quick video, and using ChatGPT, you'll be able to identify if they're having a stroke or not. And I think this is super helpful, because if you can identify a stroke quickly, you can get people treatment. It says every minute becomes crucial and can significantly impact a patient's recovery, because it's one of those things that if you can get it in time, you can save people's lives. So AI face screening technology is coming to your phone. Okay, speaking of AIs on your phone, this company called Haze Labs, it's a university student who just graduated who started Haze Labs, and they're creating algorithms to jailbreak leading AI models. And what that means is they're using models to go in and jailbreak things. And it says, today is a bad day to be a language model. Today we announce Haze Labs Manifesto. It automatically red teams AI systems to preemptively discover and eliminate any failure mode. So basically what it's looking for is failure points within your large language model. And this maybe is good and bad. I think it kind of has both sides to it there. It says here, the startup was covered in Washington Post and calls the Haze Suite or hazing suite. And the idea is essentially a collection of algorithms specifically designed to probe large language models and those like ChatGPT and Claude for weaknesses. And the idea here is that it can find weaknesses within the models, and not for the purpose of exploiting it, but for the purpose of identifying it and sharing it with the large language models. It's really not a nefarious thing. It could be used for such, but they're using it for good purposes. And I think that's super interesting and cool. Okay, speaking of OpenAI and open models, this is a chart evaluating the openness of open source models. Many AI models claim to be open, but restrict code and data access. Companies like Meta and Microsoft label their models open, but share little info. This practice is called open washing, fakes transparency. And here we go. So if we look at this here, let me zoom in. You can see here, availability, documentation, and access for all the open source. Here, we'll just go down to Mistral, for example. It's not open, lots of red here. So at the top, we've got OLMO 7B Instruct that is pretty open except for the paper and the API. But as you go down here, you can really see the openness of each one of these models. And the further you go down to the bottom, ChatGPT by a company called OpenAI, ironically, is the least open of all of the models. Interesting. So the ones that are owned by OpenAI are the least open. All right, well, I'll put the link in the chat. You can dive in there in a minute. This is nuts. This is a robot dog. So, you know, the robot dogs for Boston Dynamics, they came out and they were about $75,000 each. This one here that does backflips, that can do handstands and backflips and all sorts of crazy stuff. Look at this. I don't recommend kicking or beating your robot dog. I don't recommend this at all because they probably have a memory and they're going to look at it. It breaks the stick right over the top of this thing and it's still doing a handstand. I can't tell you that this is probably not the best idea to do to your robots because they're probably going to remember that, but it is pretty incredible that this thing just keeps getting up and going. So it shows the durability of these robots now and the fact that you can throw it around and it can go on any terrain. Now, strap a gun to this thing and it becomes a lethal warrior. But I think just having one of these, guess what? The price is only $1,600, $1,600 for a robot that can do handstands. I want one of these just to bring with me every day. I want to walk my real dog with this dog beside me. Awesome. Oh, stop that. There we go. Check this out.
Is an interactive performance to the participants. We have been working on emergent behaviors since 2007, implementing hand-coded artificial life algorithms such as swarming. These algorithms are wonderful examples of our exploration into classical AI. With the work, Drift once again brings these two seemingly different worlds, technology and nature, closer together.
Very, very cool. I just thought that was neat. I'll put the link so you can follow up with it. Apple arcade games, Warped Kart Racer and Cityscapes are coming to the Apple Vision Pro. So you're going to be able to play your favorite games on Apple Vision Pro. And I just thought this was super cool. You can literally bring the game out into your world, and more stuff is going to be built for the Apple Vision Pro. I've heard some people, and the fact is they're failing to understand that the Apple Vision Pro is still a developer kit. It was designed as a developer kit. It was sold to developers as the idea of building on this. And so, you know, it's really one of those things that it's not ready for the consumer market yet, but it will be very soon. And by having all these games available, having lots of things to do, I think it's going to be a super fun example of virtual reality in augmented reality and mixed reality, whatever, spatial computing, whatever you want to call it. The Apple Vision Pro is by far the pinnacle of this. And of course, it's going to get cheaper, lighter, better, faster. And the developers are going to build really cool stuff like these games on it. Over to, this is interesting. This is a wearable Gaussian splat. What somebody has done is taken a phone, taken a quick video of a real helmet, published it into a Gaussian splat, and then built it into a Snapchat filter. So we're able to now take real world items, scan them quickly with a phone, and then use them in augmented reality almost instantly, which is really interesting and cool. Okay, over to haptic gloves.
Work tool is the human hand. 5 dexterous fingers. Skin tough enough to work all day. And nerves so sensitive, they can detect the finest detail. Our hands are the foundation of today's workforce and the inspiration for tomorrow's. Now, for the first time, there's a training tool that can match the dexterity and sensitivity of your hands. Haptex Gloves G1. The haptic gloves with the most realistic touch. G1 is lined with hundreds of air-powered actuators that bring realism to a new level. With powerful force feedback and precise motion tracking for enterprise-grade dexterity, G1 is uniquely designed for workforce training. It works in virtual reality.
Okay, I'm going to stop there because I actually did this exact experiment where I was in the military field. I had to tourniquet somebody and do this. I actually did this with the haptics gloves in virtual reality. and I actually had nightmares. It was so realistic. I could reach out, and one of the things that they made me do is I pulled out a needle to give the patient a shot, and they said, stick your finger on the needle. And when I did, it pricked my finger and blew my mind. This having the ability to touch and feel in virtual reality changes the game, and haptics is leading that charge. Okay, over to more training in virtual reality. This is in China, and this is a training center for teaching people how to drive. We can get rid of the music, but check it out. People are learning how to drive in a safe simulator that allows them to drive and get to mastery of driving, because a lot of people are getting cars in China and around the world, and really we don't have a proper way for training them. We have driving schools, and my kids are of that age, they're becoming drivers, and I'm really legit scared for the fact that they don't have a simulator to drive on and learn from. I think this is a great use case of the technology and being able to use virtual technologies to train people on driving simulators, and I think that's super cool. So over to the last thing on my list today. I just got back from AWE, Augmented World Expo in Long Beach, California. It's the first time it was there. It went from 3,000 people to 6,000 people. So the show doubled in size and also doubled in energy. And I'm going to leave you with this. This is a conversation between Ori Inbar, the founder of AWE, and Thomas Furness. Dr. Thomas Furness is known as the grandfather of virtual reality. He created the heads-up display for the U.S. Air Force in the 1960s. And I'll leave you with this because it talks about the future and also how we can get involved in the virtual world society, which is a society built around doing what's best for humanity using these technologies. So I'll leave Tom to speak about that. I'm going to leave you with this. Again, it's been Daily Tech News for Monday, June 24th. Have a great day, everybody. I'll leave you with Tom Furness and Ori Inbar.
Is this heaven? I mean, this is so fun. This whole thing is so fun. Where else would you want to be on the earth right now? I mean, really. Ori, thank you for bringing us together, bringing our family together. What a wonderful thing. Yeah. So, one of the things I have to say is I don't know how I got into this. It was sort of, I was trying to solve some problems. And I was flying in fighter airplanes as a flight test engineer. And these cockpits were horrible. And, passing through the sound barrier, things like that, looking at all instruments, I said, this is crappy. Seems like we could do better than that. So really, necessity is the mother of invention. And I think that that's what we need to be concentrating on, is how can we solve problems in the world with technology? Technology is just a tool. But what the humanity and humane side of this is, I think, what we need to be concentrating on. This symbol that I'm wearing, you have one symbol here, you're wearing. I'm wearing this symbol.
You have the pin. So.
I have the pin. It's my wings, right? This symbol means a lot to me. You may have seen it around. It's the symbol of the Virtual World Society. And what you see is you see an adult that is holding up a child. And the whole idea is lifting humanity, and especially our children. Now, the adult represents the wisdom, sort of grounded, the grounding, the roots. The child represents the future and the future vision. I mentioned this earlier today. And the whole idea of holding up each other so that those that are younger than we can see beyond the horizon. We're looking to the past, the old guys, well, you're not there yet, but the old guys that are looking in the past, and we can hold up the younger ones and ask, what do you see? Because we need to know that too.
That's right.
So we all together in this, and we all pioneers. And thank you for this opportunity to be here and to enjoy a family. What an amazing family we have.
So with that, let's hold each other up. Let's look to the future. Let's inspire the next generations to build the future of humanity and using technology to solve the world's greatest challenges. I'm Alan Smithson. Today is Monday, June 24th, Daily Tech News. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.